Yo, what is up? It's been a long time since I've done a live on LinkedIn, but there's so much going on over at the Sales Rebellion, just in general. And I thought, yeah, why not go live and tell everybody what's going on? If you care, then you're here, and otherwise, no big deal. Maybe you'll watch this at some point, the replay, and you'll be annoyed by me talking too much, or I don't know, whatever. But grateful to anybody that's watching right now. If you've been along for the ride, I just want to kind of like start at the beginning here. You remembered my days of the copier warrior, and ultimately like how I started posting. It was actually I was using live journaling sites at first, and technically blogging, if you will, but I was kind of documenting my my days in copier sales live and my transitions that I was making from very small privately held businesses into much larger organizations, which brought me to LinkedIn and ultimately got me to start posting on LinkedIn quite frequently, which brings me to today. I began that journey so long ago, but here we are in 2025, and I'm keeping it up. I'm still on the scene. I'm still hanging out. I'm still doing lives every once in a while. And ultimately, I founded the Sales Rebellion as a concept, a movement, an ideology that also had sales training attached to it. Look, the sales training world is so noisy and gross. And I knew that getting into it. I mean, I knew what I was doing to myself for sure, but gosh, it's just gotten crazier. Everybody and their mom's a sales trainer now. A couple months at a company, apparently warrants the ability for somebody to be able to, magically just start teaching other people how to sell, if you will, right? So it's kind of a crazy thought, but I digress. Last year, because of this whole identity of sales training and just how just god awfully noise it is in the space, I decided to start really building the community out differently and really just like seeing the trends of AI and everything becoming very impersonal and saying, man, why don't we just start bringing people together? Why not? Why don't we give it a shot and see what happens? And so we did. And really the original goal of the Sales Rebellion was to become a very in-person community. If you're an OG, you remember the Rebel rallies. We had a whole bunch of them in Orlando. Great speakers, great community guests, lots of networking. It was super fun, and we wanted to get back to that. So we've jumped into that space again as of 2024. If you know, you know. Totality is the name of the game. So shout out to anybody that bought a ticket last year and came to the inaugural event, and all of the incredible facilitators that were there with us as well too. It was just absolutely a great spectacle, if you will, of that we put on of rebellion. We had an awesome time, and ultimately, like what it led me to was to start to say, man, we got to make some more shifts within the business model, and because of that we decided to stop really doing so much sales training like we had in the past, and we started to develop what we call the Rebel as a service, so the RAS service, if you will. Why hire AI SDRs when you can hire a Rebel? It's kind of concept. And so what we did is we picked a handful of accounts, partnerships, if you will, people that we've served in the past, brand new people to the rebellion that we felt would give us the keys and essentially allow us to be in charge of their outbound systems and not just training people to do the outbound work, but also but literally doing the outbound work ourselves for these people, which was or has been, I should say, a lot of fun and a huge shift inside of our organization. But with that said as well too, what we wanted to start to do is give people more access without having to spend tens of thousands of dollars on sales training. We want to give people more access to our playbooks and our tutorials. So we rolled those things out, which I'm going to show you all real quick. Maybe you've seen these, maybe you haven't. Maybe you've bought something off of the Rebel Arcade. Maybe you haven't. One way or another, here it is. So we launched on the website. We launched the Rebel Arcade. It's up here under resources. If you're chilling on the site, um, arcade right under resources. That basically this is our version of outreach. So a lot of people like to cold call, a lot of people like to cold email, A lot of people like to use LinkedIn and send DMs, or Twitter and send weird private messages, and hit follow and like 7 of your posts. All that weird stuff. Anyway, we like to use the mail, and in-person experiences. So we like to not just send stuff in the mail, but also allow people to use concepts that can be, again, like I just said, dropped off in the flesh to others. Because look, even regardless of the let's just call it the uh, remote economy, if you will, so many people working from home now, there's plenty of folks that still have brick and mortar offices, and in most cases, when we have people that work remotely, they still have a place to get the mail, if you will. Case in point, in a lot of the accounts that we're calling on right now, the majority of the decision makers, at these organizations, yes, they work from the house most days, but they're in the office like Thursdays and Fridays, or vice versa, at the end of the week, kind of, or the beginning of the week, kind of thing. Also, like what we have found too is that if you could just make a quick call and talk to somebody at the front desk and ask them, like, hey, if I were to send John Smith mail to XYZ, Lane, Wisconsin, blah blah blah, would it get to them? And a lot of the time people will tell you straight up, like, yeah, they come to the office. No, they don't. We mail forward, so we send it actually to their remote location at their home. So you can send it here, but again, the mail is still incredibly credible at this stage, and something that you should use. So let me just take you through the arcade real quick. So we got 3 levels: level 1, level 2, level 3, right here. Now, when you click on these, it takes you, just through a little brief, like, hey, this is the impact that these things are supposed to have on your clients. Ultimately, the level 1 stuff is very easy to use. So it's simple is the concept here. Like, you can get into these quickly, make them work for yourself extremely well. They're awesome too. So you'll recognize this first one, the crumpled letter, which is everybody's favorite in the world, and we use these like crazy inside of the rebellion, and then we have tons of people all over the world that are using this as well too. I can't track it at this point, but I will say that in total we've had somewhere in the ballpark of just about 5,600, something like that, I think is the number, 5,700 total downloads of the crumpled letter. And listen, y'all, I don't know how many of y'all are actually using it. You download it, and then the story is, in most cases, like, yeah, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try this, and it just doesn't happen. But for the people that are doing this, the people that are trying this, they're having massive success. I mean, I get a text a day and a DM a day, sometimes 2, sometimes 5, sometimes 10, of just people having these epic successes, breaking through the noise, getting to people that they'd never gotten to before. So I highly recommend it. And like I said, there's a couple different levels down here. I'm not going to go through them all, but level 2's got 3, 4 options. Level 3's got 3, 4 options. And then for all my copier warriors out there, I got this whole treasure and toner door down here at the bottom. So shout out to my copier warriors. If you want to be a mini copier warrior, you can come in here and peek behind the door and see what's here. And if you're feeling ready and you want to go all in on your copier warrior journey, then just click it and buy it and see what you get from it. These are a lot of the tools that I used when I was selling copy machines that made me ultra successful inside of what I was doing, and now I'm basically giving them to all of you at this stage. So, for a price. I'm not free anymore. Dang it. If you got in the early stages, though, you sure did get a lot of free downloads from us, for without a doubt. So shout out to you if you're watching this. Otherwise, make the investment, spend the money, see what happens. The return on investment on these types of methodologies are massive. We've seen people go from making $150,000 a year to 750, 850, $950,000 a year. And not just 1 or 2 people as well, like a good amount of folks that put their blood, sweat, and tears and equity, needed into this concept to make it work. Let me just show you real quick. Like, when you buy something off of the arcade, this is what it looks like. These are the layout of the tutorials, if you will. So that we call these market tools, as you'll see down here at the bottom. But this is the crumpled letter. It's super easy to navigate. The table of contents makes it simple. And then when you get in here, there's lots of really great information, including we talked earlier about finding addresses for remote prospects. I'll give you a glimpse of this real quick, just so you can see. Like we put a Word doc together, basically with everything that you could potentially need in order to make finding an address of a remote prospect a reality, and ultimately, just easier in general for people to be able to use these concepts and not be like left in the dark in the process, and like just learning a little bit, right? So that it'll take you through, short video here of the crumpled letter itself, the copy. You'll get templates, example templates. I'll show you some of those actually real quick as well too. Here's a like a handful of templates that we show to people. Some of our favorite rebels. What's up, Alex Smith? Toby, Jacqueline, it's just some of the greatest letters that we've ever written, slash some of the most success that we've seen rebels have are from these letters right here. And remember that ultimately, like what you're looking at here is it's a creation, from our end, as a gift to you, if you will, where we have basically created the copy, created the methodology, created the concepts, and we're handing it off to you. In the handoff, you get to learn exactly how to execute it, but ultimately, you also get the copy, you get the best practices, you get a lot of resources, internal, external, everything that you could possibly need in order to make this work for you, which is the most important part of this whole process. Like we want to give this away to everybody that wants to, ultimately use it effectively, and that's the goal, right? So the templates themselves, just so you can see, like for you to create your own, they're pretty simple. They are already written for you by the master himself, Jeremiah Griffin. Shout out to the copy master himself. Freaking amazing guy. You'll see that the bullet points, all the small things that we as rebels do different than everybody else, are all included in here. Also, like, just in case you're wondering, like if there's like deeper or more extensive concepts of this, yes there are. And if you're on the arcade, go down a little bit and buy the legendary letter set, and not just the crumpled letters. You'll get a bunch of different letters, you get a bunch of different resources. It's a lot thicker, if you will, of a book, a tutorial, uh, for you to follow in order to execute these things. But again, remember the level 1, the level 2, the level 3 concepts. So this is a good starting point. This will set you appointments. This is a differentiator in the way that you prospect all day long. And with that said, there's two things I want to do real quick. Actually, I want to show you, like, this is a pretty cool concept right here. These are actually 3D printed uh, trash cans. So we put a little message on the top here. If you're coming to Totality 2025, by the way, like this will be there for sale. I'll have about 500 of them. So anybody that's coming to Totality, you can get your hands on some of these. But these are slick, right? They're really cool. They got the little wheels on the bottom. We got tons of different colors and variations of these things. They're beautiful. But imagine like you get this in the mail in a sick little box. You open it up, and inside is your crumpled letter. I think my kid, who was just in here a second ago, if you saw him, I think he stole my crumpled letter, like straight up, just like took my crumpled letter. What a butthead. But yeah, otherwise I would show you my Dale's crumpled letter that I'm actually using to prospect for our RAS customers, and give you a little bit of the taste of that success. As a matter of fact, uh, speaking of success, let me actually share my screen here, and I'm going to show you this post. I don't know if you all saw this or not, but this is actually one of our sales reps here at the Sales Rebellion doing a call, um, specifically for the RAS prospecting. I'm gonna hit play, and it's supposed to share the audio. It's only 30 seconds. So either you're going to hear nothing for 30 seconds, and what I would do is I would highly recommend, this is posted about a week ago, go into my content a week prior to today's content, find this post and hit play yourself. Otherwise, if you can hear it, I'm pretty sure you can hear it. You'll be able to hear just like the kind of success that rebels get.
My name's Tyler. Probably doesn't ring a bell, but I actually sent you something in the mail recently. I wanted to call and see if you got it.
What was it?
It was like a small recycling bin slash trash can.
Oh, actually, I gave it to our development department. She's the one that got it, and she was actually supposed to email you or call you. She was so impressed by it. She's like,
That's
this
good.
is impressive marketing. And like, she was just really impressed. So I know she was supposed to call you and connect with you, but I'm not sure if she had the chance to.
Yeah, so let me just like go back and reiterate that this is a straight cold call. So this is us sending something in the mail to somebody. We've never had contact with this person. We're making this call behind this send, and this is the person's response in this moment. I dare you to get a better response doing a cold call to somebody. I really do. I dare you to get a better response and to send it to me. I'll 1000%. I will stop doing all the things that I do, and I'll endorse your thing immediately. If you have a better methodology of like reception on that first ever cold call, like I already know the answer. Like none of y'all hear anything like that. For the most part, on a cold call, we have to slowly nurture and convince the person on the other side to even stay on it in the first place and continue the conversation, right? So this is a methodology that's not going to be popular because ultimately it's not powered by AI, it's not powered by automation. There is no shortcut in this methodology, and so it's difficult. It's a lot of effort. It's more than just sending something in the mail too, because you also have to, again, like that's why we have the tutorials. Do the research, get yourself aligned specifically with the organization that you're sending to, understand our methodology extremely well through the process of experience on your end as well too. And you know, and do the action. It's not easy to like stuff these trash cans with crumpled letters and send them out. Like it takes time. It's a thing that is not quote unquote scalable, if you will. With that said, I want to also just show y'all like just a quick peek into another arcade offering at the salesrebellion.com inside of the arcade. This is the postcard tutorials. This is actually like coming out right now. So we have a whole bunch of other tutorials in there right now, but I just want to show you this one real quick, just so you can get an idea of what these assets or what assets I should say are included inside of these tutorials. Again, like great overviews of what it is that we're doing, some first touch pieces, some multi-use cards, the cold call bingo card. We got follow-up cards in here as well too for nurturing. And again, like we love mail. That's our thing, right? So like of course we're going to show off, our mailers all the time. It's just how we roll, right? But I'm particularly proud of this page right here. I love the Ghostbuster cards and like the people that we're following up with that just are they're not responsive to us. So like this is one of the postcard templates that's included. We got these fun little quotes on here. Oh, this one in particular, I love how being an adult is basically saying after this week, things will slow down a bit to yourself until you die. And there's a couple iterations of this on here, 4 in total, some different looks as well too. And then the back is all the same on every single one of them, which basically says, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, if the message on the front of the card is accurate for you, I can sympathize. I know you're busy, so I'll continue to try harder to earn some extra time of yours to talk, whether that's next week or sometime in May of 2023. And this is the type of thing, again, that nobody's sending inside of the sales world, that you would be the first person doing it in your territory in most cases. And because of that, it's going to yield a lot of additional fruit inside of your sales walk and your sales career. Right now things are extremely noisy inside of sales too, so keep that piece of it in mind as well, because if you want to stand out, differentiate, and be something that is curious to others and be something that causes a sense of wonder, this is the only way to do it. Quite frankly, you're not going to do it in a 30-second pitch over the phone. You're not going to do it by constantly sending cold emails and sequences over and over again. Those things are dying. They're at a state right now where they're just like on life support. And the only reason that they stay living, ultimately, in my opinion, is because there's ease of access to those things. It's not, you don't have to pay anything to send an email. You can just open a Gmail account and make it happen. So I respect it for sure. Always will respect the email, respect the cold call, but I also just highly recommend to everybody that thinks that those things are going to suddenly like free them inside of their sales career. They're not. Either that or you're going to burn through a lot of the freedom that you could have been attaining to get some type of outcome that's really not going to be as impressive as you think. It might feel better because you're making money now, you're getting more responses now, you're selling more stuff now. But just think about the tens of thousands of people that you're missing out on, in essence, by not doing the types of things. My dude right here, he's handing me that trash can. So say hi, Wild. Say hi. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, good job, bro. Yeah. I got the kids with me. Matter of fact, if you know my story, you know that I always have the kids with me. Unfortunately, this time that I have the kids with me is not a very pleasant situation. Our car exploded on the on the highway. By the way, we take great care of this car, so this is a freak accident, but it exploded on the highway and we're stuck in the middle of nowhere in Florida, out thousands of dollars at this point for parts and fixing this vehicle. God is good ultimately at the end of the day, and we've been taken care of, just in regards to like what could be happening right now. But unfortunately, we're all going stir crazy in a house that we've been stuck in for 3 days with no vehicle, and in a city in the middle of nowhere in Florida where we don't really know anybody. So maybe that's why I went live. Who knows? Anyway, that's a bunch of stuff you didn't ask me to talk to you about. But I want to share also in the rebellion right now that I'm making some big changes around the way that we do teach. And matter of fact, let me actually start here real quick. And if you still want to learn from us, you can. If you click the learn button right here, you can head to the squadron page. And just as like a quick Easter egg for anybody that's watching, there's about to be 2 more options under learn that I definitely think you should keep your eyes open for as we evolve these offerings and ultimately as we roll them out as well too. But the squadron is a great place to get fulfillment and to get coaching slash training from us and learn. We basically set these up for people that want to come and do this outbound motion that we're talking about. While so if you want to go to the arcade and DIY your own outbound, you can, or you can come to a Rebel Squadron. You'll get gifted a lot of these tutorials, and then on top of it, we actually are doing the fulfillment for you for the first 6 months of doing this outreach. So we actually package it all up. We send it to you in boxes. You give us your prospects, their names, their addresses, things like that. We get you set up. You hit the field, execute on the concept, and this is the new way that we're doing, quote unquote training, if you will. So a highly executable stuff. And ultimately, like we're teaching y'all to fish, by actually like yeah, Jeremiah. We're teaching. Yeah, Trip loves Wild loves Jeremiah. In case, shout out to Jeremiah Griffin. If y'all don't know who he is, check him out. He's one of my best friends. Incredibly important piece of the rebellion, and Wild thinks he's amazing. So I'm sure you can't hear him because this jabber microphone. Shout out to Joe Ingleson, my man, my main rebel, for the hookup on this thing. This thing blocks everything out. It's pretty phenomenal. Anyway, so conceptually though, squadrons are still here for anybody that might want to like continue to learn and not necessarily go straight to the arcade and do these things on their own. But finally, I want to just take you through this concept of what I'm building here. And so I've always had this storyboard methodology in the back of my mind. A lot of you have probably experienced it, whether you've done a workshop with us or just some type of training at some point in time with the rebellion. You've seen like the world of the rebellion, if you will. And I just wanted to give anybody that might want to look behind that curtain of the evolution of it peak. So this kind of stuff is actually there's a couple cool concepts here around this. Like number one, like we're not just building like a sales training platform anymore, right? We're actually executing on our concepts, our creative concepts for organizations like I talked about earlier. That Rebel is a service product, but we still want to support the community. And so ultimately we're building that community. I'm not going to say much more about that, but this is the kind of thing that's going to be available inside of that community. And this is a fully storyboarded concept. So this is like the idea and the identity and story of a robot inside of the rebellion who is seeking to become better at sales kind of concept. And so it travels, through the world of the rebellion, like looking for better methodologies, the idea of servant leadership, creativity, the habits, the rhythms that are necessary, and it is a giant story essentially inside of the sales rebellion that we're telling. There's 6 stories in total. And another cool part, I guess you could say in general about this concept is that we are going to bring these things to life at Totality. So if you're chilling at Totality with us this year in 2025, you're going to see a lot of this stuff hands freaking on, which should be really cool. So, when you think of us, you think of props and you think of the experiential side because we're all about giving experiences. I mean, that's the thing that we do the best. And we're very creative when we know how to pull emotional context in a situation and provide and create things that are larger than life for people through our methodologies. So if you're thinking about coming to Totality, you definitely should. And so I'm going to leave y'all with a sick video promoting Totality. I'm a little biased, but I hope you'll take 2 minutes to watch it. It's a call to action. And if you're feeling Randy, head over to the salesrebellion.com and check out the Totality page. Matter of fact, let me just show y'all real quick. So Totality up here on the top right, we got some really dope people this year. We got DeJuan Brown, Crystal Cook, Sean Sandy, Stan Miller, Leslie Vanetz, James Buckley, Say What Sales, Marcus Chan, Thomas Poston, Alicia Barr, Lauren Goodall, Donald Kelly, Stu Heineck, Christina Brady, David Breyer, Scott Frickenlees, Enrica Greathouse, Mike Simmons. This is my barber, y'all. This guy cuts hair at $200 to $400 a cut. He's going to come out and tell us a lot about that story, that journey, and ultimately his success, which you're not going to want to miss. And then your boy Dale, of course, I'll be there chilling. Who knows? Maybe I'll even speak. I guess that's yet to be told. As a matter of fact, if you know anything about Totality, you know that we are very secretive about it. So there's no published agenda. You just know there's workshops happening. The speakers are not speakers. They are workshop facilitators. Everything's hands-on. The venue, though, is a secret. Can't tell you where we're going. All the cool stuff we have planned is also a secret. Like, look, just trust us with your money and come hang out and get epic development, network with some of the best, meet some amazing facilitators, change your life. That's what the Sales Rebellion is all about. Let's change lives. Come be a part of that with us. So with that said, y'all, I'm super grateful to anybody that sat through 28 minutes of me yapping my brains out. Really do appreciate y'all. It's a great community that we've built here in general. And I love this LinkedIn platform and the people that I've met on it, all the friends that I've made through it, all the success that it's given me. So, shout out to all y'all that are on here. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or something else, you're cool too, I guess. But you should find me on LinkedIn because I like the platform better. All right, y'all, join us at Totality. And hey, if you're feeling Randy, you want to help my family out and the thousands of dollars we just dropped on new engines and all the crazy stuff that just happened to our vehicle to get us go buy something arcade. All proceeds and purchases from the arcade from now until this weekend will go directly toward getting me home safely. That's it. Y'all ready for this? Buckle up.
This is Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen. With the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force. Do not return to the temple. That time has passed. And our future is uncertain. We will each be challenged. Our trust, our faith, our friendships. But we must persevere. And in time, a new hope will emerge. Let's go! May the Force be with you, always.
See you guys in 2025.